Hi, it's Stephen here for Bland Designs, and this is another CRAP video. CRAP, as you know, stands for Creative Relaxation and Play, and this is number 26, and it's basically a continuation of CRAP number 25, where I was experimenting with a technique for transferring pictures from a magazine to the Geliplate and taking a print with that. Well, I'm going to try a couple of other products that are not traditionally used with a Geliplate. Now again, I saw these used on a couple of different YouTube videos, so I thought I'd give it a try myself and see how well it works. The first technique I'm going to try is with the VickiBoutin crayons, art crayons, and as you know, these are water soluble. So I'm going to take these and I'm just going to use a couple of colors, some blue and some purple, and first way I'm going to try this is directly on the Geliplate. And I'm just rubbing some of the color on here. And then I'm going to take a paintbrush and some water just get that mixed around. I'll use my brayer on this and just see, and I don't think it's going to work doing it this way. One, I think there's too much water. And the color doesn't seem to be moving at all on here. So I'm going to get a piece of cardstock and just see what happens. Now I'm pretty much anticipating that this is not going to really give me much of an effect, but let's just see. No, that does not work like that. So I kind of forget what they did in the video when I saw this, but I think they might have used what VickiBoutin calls her kiss method. So let's see if I can clean these up off my plate. I've kind of stained my Geliplate. They don't seem to come off at all, even with water. I don't think that's going to hurt my Geliplate, I hope. Okay, I've got a little piece of acetate with me right here. So I'm going to put the color onto the acetate. Just scribbling it on. And then give it a spritz. And with a paintbrush, sort of muck it about. And just going to touch it to the Geliplate. Going to add a little bit more. Okay. Now I'm giving this a little bit of time on here because I think the paper needs to absorb some of that crayon. And yeah, actually, you get kind of an interesting effect. It's subtle, but it's kind of cool. So you could build up layers. So let's try that. Put that over to the side. Let's grab some more of these. And we'll take the one that we just did a minute ago, and we're going to put it down again. And I picked up a little bit more color again. It's subtle, but it's kind of neat. So, yeah, these will work. Now, I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to take a smaller paintbrush. Let's see, this. And I'm going to wet my crayon, and I'm going to flick. Now, I don't seem to be getting a whole lot off the crayon, but again, same one I used before. And it did pick up a little bit of the splatter. So yeah, you could make some interesting backgrounds. I don't know if it's worth it though. I don't know if it's worth the time and effort to do it on a jelly plate, because I think you can get probably about the same effect just using a piece of acetate the way that Vicki does it usually, and just do the kiss method direct from the acetate. But it does have some potential. Okay, let's clean up the pad. And kind of annoys me that I still have on here some of the dye from the crayon on my jelly plate, but it doesn't seem to hurt it, so I guess we'll just get used to that. Over time it may wear off. So the next thing I want to try is oxide inks, because I saw this as well. And I'm just going to pick a few colors and I'll be right back. Okay, so for this technique I've picked 3 colors of oxide inks, and I've got Mermaid Lagoon, Blueprint Sketch, and Shaded Lilac, and I'm just going to put them directly onto the jelly plate right from the pad. Okay, now you can see on the jelly plate that these are beading up a little bit because they are water reactive. I'm just going to take a piece of cardstock. I'm not going to add any water or anything to it. I'm just going to lay it down. Whoa. That's really good. Now you can see the texture in it from the pad itself as well, but that really came out very nice. It's very bold. So let's take a ghost print. Just to see how much of the ink remains on the jelly plate. Yeah. More subtle, a little lighter, but still pretty good. Okay, so let's see what happens. We'll use the same 3 colors, but this time I'm going to smooth them out a little bit with the brayer. New sheet of cardstock. Oh, that's really cool too. Make a nice background. Now you see here, there's still some texture, but the color is much smoother than on the first one, just in comparison. So you have these 2 different effects. Now, I wonder what will happen if I'm going to put some more on here. And because the oxide inks are made to react to water in a very specific way to give you sort of that oxidized look. Oops. It's attacking me. I'm going to see what happens if I give it a very light spritz of water. Get some more cardstock. Just a little water. And let's see what happens. And you do get that oxidized effect somewhat. It's more subtle, but it is there. Now, if you were to take this and brayer it first, so you smooth it out, then we spritz it with a little water, I wonder if we'll get a more dramatic oxidized effect. You get quite a bit of color on your brayer. In fact, I'm just cleaning it off over here on this piece of scratch paper, and it's kind of a neat effect doing that too. Okay, spritz. Maybe a little bit more, but I don't think it's major. So what happens if I spritz the paper itself and just let that sit for a minute because that'll reactivate the inks, and it is. I'm getting more of the oxidization in here. Again, it's subtle, but it is there. So let's set that aside. Let's use a piece of text paper here just to soak up what's left of the ink. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going off screen. Not much left on there. Okay, now I wonder if we could get some more texture in this if we lay down the oxide inks and use a texture plate. So let me grab Okay, I've got these texture plates. So I'm just grabbing one at random here. I'm going to mix up the order of my colors a little bit. Thing too about this is that the oxide, because it's mixed with pigment ink as well as dye, has a longer open time, which is good when you're doing something like jelly plate printing. Means it won't dry as fast. And I think I will sprayer that. And now let's take our texture plate. Okay. And let's use our book text again. Oops. And yes, you do get texture. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of neat. Okay, so let's just clean off the jelly plate with just use a ghost here. And again, texture's still there, color's a little bit more subtle. But yeah, so I think the oxide inks work really well with the jelly plate and give you a different look than using just acrylic paint. The VickiBoutin crayons, they give you a very subtle look, but I don't know if it's really worth the effort to drag out your jelly plate and do that technique, because I think you can get the same effect pretty much using it by doing the kiss method on a piece of acetate and then putting the acetate directly to your page. However, it might be fun to experiment. So I hope you enjoyed this experimentation as well, and watch for future crap videos. Bye for now.